Well, late last year he released his 26th studio album, Reality, and this week he arrived in Australia for his first tour in 17 years. Bowie's music has always been an intoxicating mix of groundbreaking technology and rock and roll purity, catchy melodies, cutting-edge production, brilliant musicianship, and lyrics that ponder the notion of life on Mars and the realities of living on planet Earth, fear, fashion, and fame. He's the man who fell to Earth, the man who sold the world, Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, the Thin White Duke, David Bowie. Mr. Bowie, it's terrific to have you in the country, sir. It's been way too long, 16 years or something.
Yeah, it is. For me, well, in a private capacity, I was here 14 years ago was the last time I was here.
You used to have an apartment in Sydney.
Yeah, Elizabeth Bay, which is a beautiful bay here. And I had one opposite the marina. I stupidly sold it.
It's probably worth about 10 times what you sold it for.
Yeah, that's the only reason. No, I say stupidly because it was absolutely the most gorgeous place to have. But I just wasn't getting over here enough.
You don't like flying. That's a fairly well-documented fact.
No, I still don't like it. I do it these days all the time. I know the theory that, it's like safer to fly than it is to get in a car. So emotionally, I don't like it at all, terrified of it. But rationally, I understand that it's the only option. Although, parked up the side here...
Reasonably big, sort of...
It's a very big boat. The Queen Elizabeth. And I was on that this time last year, actually, going over to America on one of its last runs on that particular run, from the Atlantic run.
From London to New York?
Yeah, Portsmouth to New York. And I took that because I heard it was the last of its runs, Because I used to take it in the 70s, in the early 70s, when I was really terrified of flying. Absolutely. And so the only option I had was to go over on the boats.
How long does it take?
5 days, which is not that bad. Really.
What did you do with yourself for 5 days on a boat?
I take loads of books and CDs and DVDs and, I become a home entertainment centre.
I can think of worse ways to spend 5 days.
I tell you what, it's if you're in a grueling schedule and it's like an enforced rest period, they just have these wonderful restaurants on board and you just kind of laze in the sun and it's a good way of travelling, actually.
This interview is brought to you by the Cunard line, proud sponsors of the...
Yeah, I'm sorry, I went on with that one.
No. You're going to be doing a fair bit of flying, 17 countries, you're going to play to 1 million people. I mean, it's a long time away from home.
It's a hell of a long time. It'll be a full year by the time I finish. But
you don't need the cash.
No, this is like, I mean, I'm in a certain kind of position where one of the few ways I get to have my work really exposed is to go and play live, because you reach my sage old age and you find it's just impossible to get radio play or TV or whatever, on videos and things. So you have to do alternative means, and one of the things open to us is to go and tour the albums,
The tragic human is looking young and sexy.
We were looking at some old vision of you this morning, sort of getting all the bits and pieces ready for this interview. Looking at footage of the old grey whistle test in 1972, I think.
I did 5 years on that show, I think, with that blue guitar.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
In those days when you got the makeup and the costumes and the theatrics and everything, you were doing that stuff.
I tell you, the old grey whistle test was particularly interesting because I hadn't even dyed my hair red at that time. It was still this kind of colour. But I was doing the Ziggy Stardust thing. So that was a really... I think that's the only time I'd done the Ziggy Stardust thing without Ziggy's red hair. That's an extraordinary bit of footage, isn't it?
What was driving you in those days? What was it that was just propelling you to do these things, which were at the time outrageous?
I just wanted to create some kind of theatrical rock device that was totally new and pushed rock music somewhere else a bit. And I guess it was like trying to take the kind of thing that they did, what I presume they did because I'd never been there, on Broadway, and bring it to the rock stage. But I never got far enough to write dialogue and stuff, so it was kind of a half-baked idea, and it came out the way it came out, which was like a half concept. It was kind of a rock musical without the script.
dirty sight. Screwed up eyes and screwed down head.
It's a very different environment these days to what it was when you started.
Oh, I think a lot of the artists these days are a lot more canny than they used to be when I was a kid. I mean, we really didn't know what we were signing. But a lot of these youngsters
in a business
kind of
sense.
have... Yeah, but, you know, a lot of the... I can't say this applies to all of them because there's some good kids out there with lots of integrity and are really writing well and want to be musicians and have some kind of artistic integrity. But there's a lot of artists, new ones, who see it as just a kind of a ladder to fame or celebrity or whatever, and they have a talent and they sing well and they can dance well, whatever means is necessary, and that's the aspect of it that I don't really understand. It wasn't around when I was that age, you know. We'd come out of Hendrix and Lennon and all those things, and there's now a lot of kids that it's just a career opportunity, you know. And I guess that's all it is these days for some kids, you know.
You're saying you didn't want to be famous?
No, I wanted my work to be admired. I wanted to be a great writer and performer and all those other things. And fame would naturally come with all that, you know. But what I really wanted was to produce really good work and have other people recognise it for being that, you know.
Well, you're a rarity in the sense that we Bowie album with the same expectation as the ones way back then. So
I'm delighted.
So 26 and going strong, yeah?
Thanks very much.
26th studio album?
Studio, yeah.
How many more to go?
Oh, don't do that to me. I have no idea. One day at a time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Rebel, rebel, your Tony Jazz. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know?
Yeah, the reality tour began its Australasian run in Wellington. Wet Wellington last Saturday night. Bowie plays in Brisbane tonight, Sydney on Friday and Saturday, then Adelaide, Melbourne and Perth. Still the odd ticket floating around for the odd show. And if the overseas reviews are anything to go by, we're certainly in for a terrific night out. He's playing 70 shows in 17 countries. We'll play to well over 1 million people on this tour.
He seems very comfortable with his life now, doesn't he?
Very happy in his own skill. Why wouldn't you be? You know, he's very confident, very happy.
Yeah.
Little bub, all that sort of thing.
It's such a contrast. I remember when I was a little kid watching people like, you know, Bowie and Rod Stewart now you get the same sort of vibe from Rod Stewart now. And they were such, to me when I was a little kid, dangerous, sort of cutting-edge boys.
Yeah, well, I think the angst has been replaced by a sort of mellowness.
Yeah, well, and, you know, that makes sense.
It comes with age,
It comes with
doesn't
time,
A
doesn't
few
it?
million bucks in the bank probably helps.
Oh, yeah,
too.
do you think?
Hey, listen, so David Bowie, thank you for the interview, and it was nice to see him here too. 17 years between drinks is a long time.